Good evening and welcome to our first episode of Whether or Not We're Your Co-Hosts. I'm Allison Gutleber.
And I'm Dan Guzman.
So this is our first virtual show. Dan, how do you feel about not being in the studio?
You know, it's pretty upsetting not being able to be in front of the green screen in person. And obviously, I miss working with you guys close together in the studio and in the office, but we can't do that now. And I do think everyone needs to get used to how this technology works from home. So I think we can go ahead and keep doing the show without any big problems.
Yes, I definitely agree. I think there might be a silver lining to this, but I'm also going to miss being in the studio with everybody.
Yeah, definitely. You know, the first week we got here was really hot and sunny out, so great opportunities to get out and enjoy the fresh air. Of course, still social distancing.
Definitely. Earlier this week, it got a little chilly, but when we look towards the end of the week, we will see that warmth come back. But we'll leave that to Nick with his forecast later on in the show. First, we have Nature in the News. I'll be talking about Hurricane Laura, and also I will be talking about heat streaks. Dan will be speaking about Death Valley and the ice melting in Greenland.
Yes, and also in tonight's episode, Allison will be interviewing our new members for the show this semester, and Ryan will also be doing a feature on COVID-19.
Yes, but first, here is Nature in the News. Last week, southwestern Louisiana faced off with the most intense hurricane the region has seen in recorded history. Hurricane Laura stormed ashore early Thursday morning with winds of 150 miles per hour, which made it the fifth strongest hurricane to hit the continental U.S. Just a day before making landfall, the National Hurricane Center issued a statement saying that the storm surge would be unsurvivable in some spots. Fortunately, a shift in Laura's track caused much lower surge heights than earlier anticipated, but surge heights of over 9 feet still struck cities in Cameron, Louisiana. Severe wind gusts of up to 133 miles per hour were also recorded over Lake Charles before equipment failure. With millions of people still left without power, Hurricane Laura's damage estimates are expected to be upwards of $12 billion.
Stifling heat sizzled its way to Death Valley National Park in California on Sunday, August 16th. With the National Weather Service confirming a high temperature of 130 degrees Fahrenheit, the scientific community may universally recognize this reading as the highest temperature ever recorded on planet Earth. At 3:41 Pacific Standard Time, the high temperature read 130 degrees Fahrenheit, making it the highest global temperature recorded in the month of August. According to XMASIS-2 climate data, this reading would tie to be the third highest temperature ever recorded on planet Earth. However, there is much speculation about the top two highest global temperatures from XMASIS-2. According to Live Science, if August 16th's observations verify, it would surpass the next universally accepted highest global temperature of 129 degrees Fahrenheit at none other than Death Valley. The World Meteorological Organization and the U.S. National Climate Extremes Committee will soon verify whether or not Death Valley's 130 degree Fahrenheit reading was valid.
Scientists have found that a substantial amount of the United States is experiencing long periods of extreme heat. In a study conducted by Climate Central, extreme heat was defined as the number of consecutive hot days or heat streaks. Scientists determined that out of 242 cities analyzed in a study, 180 recorded an increase in their longest heat streak compared to data from 50 years ago. Excessive heat, especially over long periods of time, can negatively impact our health. In an effort to solve this issue, many cities have begun to implement heat adaptation strategies. These strategies include repaving sidewalks with more reflective surfaces, installing shade structures at bus stops and playgrounds, and creating additional tree-covered areas at local parks. Implementing these strategies in cities like Phoenix, Arizona is particularly important for low-income communities and outdoor workers.
After a period of moderate ice loss, the Greenland ice sheet just melted at the fastest rate ever. A new study suggests Greenland set a new record for ice loss in 2019. In total, 532 billion tons of ice melted. This shatters the old record set in 2012 of 464 billion tons. To put that into perspective, this would produce enough water to cover the entire state of California with 4 feet of water. To get melting, a stable atmospheric high-pressure system sits over the ice sheet. This favors the influx of warmer air from the mid-latitudes, one of the conditions promoting melting. The new findings reveal that the climate-related changes in weather patterns over Greenland are a major reason for the island's increasing rate of ice loss.
I'm here with our first new member and also our forecaster for this week's episode, Nick Guzzo.
Hello, everyone. It's a pleasure to be a part of this new show.
Great. So my first question for you is, what year are you and what is your option within the meteorology major?
I'm a senior here at Penn State, and my option in the meteorology degree is forecasting and communications.
I love that. That is also my option. So why did you pick that option?
Growing up, I was always interested in weather, so that led me to always watching the weather forecast on TV. And then I had an internship between my sophomore and junior year. And ever since then, it's been pretty much cemented that I wanted to go into broadcasting, and it feels like the right option after graduation.
Oh, that's so fun. So Nick was before on Up in the Air, and now he's transitioning over into Whether or Not. Do you have anything specifically you can't wait to bring to Whether or Not?
So Up in the Air was a more climate-based show, so I'm looking forward to maybe bringing in some of those perspectives to Whether or Not.
Oh, that's great. And we can't wait. And we're also looking forward to see your forecast later in the show. I'm here with our next new member of our Whether or Not team, Ryan DePhillips. So Ryan, just tell us a little bit about yourself and what year you are at Penn State.
Hello, everyone. My name is Ryan, and very super excited to get started here. In my senior year, I'm the broadcasting option in meteorology. And like I said, I'm excited to get started.
So I know that you were in a different major starting out in college. What was that and what made you move into the meteorology major?
Yeah, I was actually broadcast journalism. I've always loved writing and doing sports writing, but I combined the skills I learned from that and my passion for meteorology, which I had ever since I was 4 to 5 years old, and decided if you love what you do, you'll never have to work a single day in your life. So that was my reason.
Yes, and I agree with that 100%. So my last question is, you were on the show Up in the Air with Nick last semester. Now you're moving on to Whether or Not. So what are you most excited for and what can you bring to the show?
Yeah, I'm definitely excited to work with Nick again, work with the new members such as yourself as well. I believe this semester presents a new opportunity because things are online. And since I'm a senior as well, I think to keep adding my experience and to get more repetition to add stuff in my weather reel. But like I said, I love meteorology, love reporting the weather, and I think it's going to be a fun semester for sure.
Well, we're so excited to have you along with the rest of our new members, and we're really excited to see your new feature on how COVID is affecting air quality.
In light of COVID-19, a cleaner atmosphere has led to some considerable global consequences. According to the National Bureau of Economic Research, the reduction in pollution and greenhouse gases in the United States has caused 360 fewer fatalities per month from illnesses like asthma, lung disease, and heart diseases. How much have greenhouse gases been reduced? Well, the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, NOAA, suggests that COVID-19 could trigger the largest annual fall in CO2 emissions in recorded history. For perspective, global CO2 emissions are at the same level as they were in 2006. One of the most important pollutants that affect air quality, nitrous oxide, NO2, has caused places in India to see the Himalayan mountains for the first time in decades. Along the I-95 corridor from Washington, D.C. to Boston, NO2 emissions decreased 30% from March 2015 to 2019 to March 2020. While the situation is certainly not a silver lining to the 860,000 plus people who died from COVID-19, it certainly goes to show just a taste of what a cleaner global environment could be. Chris Forrest, professor of climate dynamics in the Pennsylvania State Department of Meteorology and Atmospheric Science, has been watching this situation closely unfold.
Oh, it's been an amazing experiment that we've been running, unfortunately, because of the virus, but the ability to look at how the emissions from all of the different sources of greenhouse gases and pollutants has been reduced over the past 6 months has been highly documented by the science community.
Speaking of the science community, most studies suggest that the highest reduction in air pollution has been documented in metropolitan areas.
According to European Space Agency (ESA) satellite data, the 40 to 50% reduction in air pollution from this past March to April, compared to the same time period last year, has been mostly confined to cities where rainfall has been prevalent.
The ability of rain events to wash away the pollutants in the atmosphere just has been very significant in terms of being able to reduce the pollution.
Due to the lack of precipitation and the hottest summer on record right here in State College, there has not been any significant reductions in air pollution, if any at all.
How is the atmosphere actually doing the cleaning up of the aerosols? How much rain do we have? And so things like the drought conditions we've seen are certainly limiting the ability of the atmosphere to take out those particulates.
Whether for better or for worse, industrial energy businesses relating to transportation, electricity, and agriculture are feeling the effects of air quality, which thus affect the weather. It is proven that the reduction of CO2 and NO2 does indeed reduce temperatures. However, given that these are small perturbations in the immense global warming spectrum, effects will be greatly limited.
I think we would have to wait 10 to 20 years to see the effect of this small perturbation. And I think it's going to be hard to separate that from the noise of the climate system.
Regardless of the effect aerosols have on the climate, it is important that as a human race, we continue to mask up and be safe.
It is also a time of reckoning to learn from this quote-unquote experiment and to perhaps reduce greenhouse gas emissions in the future. For Whether or Not, I'm Ryan DePhillips.
I'm Nick Guzzo, back with your extended forecast, taking a look at what next week has in store for us weather-wise. But first, let's recap what we can see this upcoming weekend. Friday, temperatures gain near 80 degrees, in some spots getting to 80 degrees, with mostly sunny skies. High pressure takes over on Saturday and Sunday, as temperatures rise into the mid to upper 70s, with plenty of sunshine. So make sure you get out there and enjoy it, especially since it will be a holiday weekend. Now let's look at what next week has in store. Our average high for this time of the year is 77 degrees. On Monday and Tuesday, we will be above that, with Monday gaining to near 80 degrees again. Mostly sunny skies for both days. High pressure starts to exit the area on Tuesday afternoon. Wednesday and Thursday will be tracking our next weather system, a low pressure system. That'll move into the area on Wednesday afternoon, bringing with it rain on Thursday, and then Friday it will exit the East Coast and will be left over with clouds for Friday during the day. Now look for the later part of the week. We do see temperatures starting to drop, or at least be on the decline, from the mid 70s to the low 70s. So that's just something to be aware of, not a big change, might even feel a little bit more comfortable. Now Dan and Allison, I'm going to throw it back over to you.
Thanks, Nick. I'm here with another one of our new members for Whether or Not, Salix Iverson. So Salix, I have a few questions for you for our viewers to get to know you. So you could just say hi real quick.
Hello.
So where are you from?
I am originally from Minneapolis, Minnesota, so Penn State's definitely a ways away from home.
Yeah, that's really nice. Why Penn State and meteorology?
I chose Penn State because I fell in love with just the atmosphere and the surrounding area, and also because they had a really good meteorology program. And as for meteorology, I grew up with two parents who were scientists, so I knew I always wanted to do something related to that, but I also was fascinated with the weather. So it kind of just seemed to be a pretty easy choice for me to make.
Yeah, that's pretty good. A lot of people pick meteorology for Penn State. So my last questions are, what year are you?
I am a senior.
You're a senior, great. So am I. And what are your plans after Penn State?
So my plans right now are to start off going to grad school online through Millersville University to get my master's in emergency management. And while that's happening, I will also be applying to different National Weather Service forecast offices in the time being. So my goal is to end up doing kind of both at the same time, working as a forecaster, but also still doing online class.
Well, that's awesome. And I hope this Whether or Not team gives you a little bit more help in your forecasting. So next we'll have another interview with one of our last new members, and we'll catch that soon.
Hello everyone, my name is Nick Guzzo, and I'm here with your Central PA forecast for this upcoming weekend. And it is looking like a great weekend. We'll see a cold front move through on Friday, and typically we do see cloud cover and also a chance for precipitation with cold fronts. However, this one's going to be a moisture-starved front. So that means not a lot of precipitation associated with it, and also could even be a lack of widespread cloud cover. In this case, we're mostly looking at sunny conditions on Friday, and things are going to continue to clear out Friday night as high pressure moves into the region. Saturday, sunny and clear conditions remain, and they even stick around for Sunday. It's a great day for Labor Day if you want to go out and do some cooking with your family for outdoor barbecue or even go on a hike. It's going to be the perfect weekend to do that. Closer look at this weekend. Friday, temperatures rising into the upper 70s, getting even close to 80 in some spots in central Pennsylvania with mostly sunny skies. Overnight, things remain clear as temperatures drop into the low 70s. Now Saturday, conditions rise back up into the mid 70s for temperature, and look at the sun still shining for Saturday. Going to be a great day to do some outdoor activities, but if you can't do it Saturday, don't worry, Sunday has your back as temperatures will rise back up into the mid to upper 70s, and the sun is sticking around, so make sure you take full use of it as we approach this weekend and get outside and do some outdoor activities. Now I'm going to throw it back over to Allison because she's going to introduce some new members to this show.
I'm here with our last new member of the Whether or Not team, Joe Ruch.
It's an honor to be here.
So first off, how are your classes this semester and what year are you?
So I am going into my junior year. They're going well so far, just getting started. It's nice to finally apply some of the math and other stuff that I've learned to this point, finally apply it towards meteorology.
Yes. So are you excited to be back at Penn State, and what did you do over the summer?
Very excited. I actually was fortunate enough to work an internship that did not get canceled. It was partially virtual, partially in person with ABC 27 over in Harrisburg. So I got a lot of learning dealing in the studio and being on camera. So I'm really excited to see if I can bring some of those skills with me to Whether or Not.
Wow, that's awesome. So I know it's your first time on the show. What are you most excited about?
Most excited to just get on air and finally do what I think I'm going to be doing for the rest of my life.
Well, we're so excited to have you, and I hope you learn a lot from our show.
I appreciate that.
So from all of us at Whether or Not, we're your co-hosts, Allison Gutleber.
And I'm Dan Guzman.
Have a great evening.